Morning, everyone. Hope we're all well. I'll give it another minute or two for people to come in, so just take your time getting ready. If you need to grab um, some paper and a pen and maybe a drink or anything that you need, and get set up before we get going. Yeah, I'll give it another minute and then I'll start the class. Morning, Shona. I hope we're all doing okay. I have this like massive window here, so I usually look out and say what the day is looking like. But it's pretty it could go either way at the moment. Of being like a really lovely day or a bit of a grey day, which can also be lovely. Okay, maybe I'll get started, and then if anyone else joins us, I can fill them in on what's going on. But morning, my name's Rachel. If any of you haven't done my meditation classes before, do them every Tuesday live on YouTube, and then they're all saved, so you can go back and watch them in your own time or do them when you need. Yeah, and so with this class in particular, it's got quite a structure to it, where we're going to do a bit of breath work to start. Morning. We'll do some written tasks, and then we'll meditate for a bit. And morning. It's nice to see everyone popping up. And then to finish, we'll just reflect at the end. So I like to sit on like a cushion or have a blanket or something. Some people like to sit on a chair or against a wall, or even staying in bed. Totally fine. Like find what works for you. Have some paper and a pen ready for us to do our written tasks later on. Yeah, I always have a cup of tea. I think that's it. Let's get going. We're going to start. In fact, the focus of today's class, which I always pick like a theme for each class, is actually focus. So today we're going to concentrate on being focused and maybe how we can work with that. And to start, we're going to do a little hand massage, because I like popping in a little massage sometimes, because it can really just like help if we're stuck at home and sometimes writing or being at a desk all the time. It can get really on our phones, really tight on our hands. So you're going to take your less dominant hand. We're going to use our dominant hand to massage the other one first, and then we'll switch rather than me saying right and left. So we're going to take this big chunk here, from the bottom of the thumb all the way to the wrist, and with your other thumb, we're just going to rub it in circles. And if you've done lots of massage before, feel free to go with what you know or what feels good. I'm just going to offer stuff. So if maybe you have less experience, you can just follow what I'm doing. So we're just doing some circles like towards the inside. You can put more pressure wherever you need. I like to do a little bit more in the center of my palm. And I like to use my hand on the back to just add a bit extra as well. Do some circles here. And you're going to take that circle, just going to circle into the palm. So you're just gradually getting bigger and bigger. Do that 3 times. And then we'll come over to the opposite, so the chunky muscle between the bottom of the pinky and the wrist. So just working up and down that place there. I like to start a little bit more from the, almost like where the forearm is, so almost below the wrist and up. Just find it feels a bit nicer. I'm working around the outside. Maybe you want to pull down as well, or reverse those circles. Next, we're going to use our fingertips, and this line here where the fingers kind of bend on the inside, almost like the inner elbow of the fingers. We're going to pull down. So we're just, maybe you can feel some bumps or lumps. We're just trying to separate this and kind of almost relieve it a bit. Work along and bring the fingers together. Nice. And then we're going to swizzle and pull the thumb and each finger. Nice. And just give it a little rub like you're washing your hands or putting on moisturizer or something. Now we're going to hold both our hands in front of us and maybe close your eyes and just notice how they might feel different. So the one you've just worked with, how does that feel different to the one that hasn't had any attention yet? Maybe it feels warmer, or maybe the skin feels a bit more stretched, or it feels a bit looser. Maybe you can move the fingers to see. Lovely. I'll move on to the next one. So again, just using the other hand with the thumb, this big chunky muscle we're going to start with. So just doing some circles. Maybe you need to go slower at some bits if it's a bit tighter. Lovely, and letting that circle just get a bit bigger and go all the way into the palm. And letting that circle make its way to the kind of opposite by the pinky. So again, find out what works for you. Maybe it's the opposite way, the circle. Maybe it's coming down from the forearm, going over almost that lip into the hand. Maybe it's just lots of pressure. Lovely. Now take your fingertips, working your way down here. I like to kind of work along. You can go a bit slower. And some will swizzle and pull. I just rub them. And a good old rub. I've been doing this action a lot the past year, probably more than we've ever done in our lives. So it's nice to just do it, but with a bit more, I guess, rigor going into the muscles. Lovely. Maybe just shake them out. And placing the palms up wherever you're sitting, wherever your legs are. Maybe if your legs are out in front, you could bring them into your center, one on top of the other. Or if your legs are crossed, you could have them facing up. Wherever you are, we're going to close the eyes. So closing the eyes down. And just taking a minute to notice how you're feeling today. Maybe you just rolled out of bed. Maybe you're still in bed. Maybe it's been quite a productive morning. Or maybe not, and that's totally okay. Just acknowledging how you're feeling right here, right now. Lovely. And I may be noticing how you're feeling physically, how your body's feeling. Maybe it's feeling a bit more mobile after warming up your hands. Giving them a bit of love, a bit of a massage. Maybe you're feeling a bit achy or a bit sore. Lovely. We're just going to take a body scan. It's almost like you have lasers outside your body, but in your mind. You're just noticing each part of the body and how it's feeling. We'll start at the hands and I'll go through it with you. You're just noticing how the hands are feeling, where they're placed. You've given them a bit of love. How are your forearms feeling? And your elbows? How about your biceps and your triceps and your upper arm? Or your shoulders, collarbones. If you feel like maybe you're hunched forward or leaning back, let's try find a nice place in the center. How's your neck feeling? And your skull on your neck, how's that feeling? Feeling a bit tight. See if we can align the skull over the spine, over the pelvis, sitting up nice and tall, but relaxed. We're not trying to strain anything. Just want to find a nice balance. Working down, how's your chest feeling? Your ribs? How about your belly? And your whole back space. How's your pelvis feeling? Your hips and your hip flexors. Maybe if you can feel you're holding them, just relax or try and breathe into them. Your thighs feeling, your knees, and your shins, and your ankles and your feet. Lovely. Now I invite you to move more inward and notice how your breath is today. Just acknowledging where your breath is at first. Try not to change it too much. And gradually in your own time, just breathing a bit deeper and deeper into your torso. Really filling up your whole body with air on your inhale and on your exhale to really let it all go. Lovely. We're going to take a really deep inhale through the nose and we're going to forcefully exhale through the mouth. So inhaling through the nose, filling up your whole torso and forcefully exhaling. You're going to blow something away. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Lovely. Blinking your eyes open in your own time. Going back to your room, back to your space, maybe rolling the shoulders out a bit. Maybe having a sip of tea or water or coffee or whatever you have. And we're going to come to our pen and paper. So if you don't have any, just go and grab some. I like to do written tasks in every class, bit of journaling. So if you weren't here at the beginning, hello. Our theme for today is focus. And before we start the written tasks, I want you just to look around your room, which you've probably been in a lot. You've probably seen everything in this room a lot. That's okay. I want you to pick one thing in this room. Maybe one thing you know very well, or maybe not. Just one object in your room. We'll use it later. We're going to come back to that. But just try and pick your object. Great. We'll come back to that later. So with our written tasks, I'd like to write numbers 1 to 4 and leave some space beside them. Since the theme is focus, I'd like you to write down 4 things, so one thing beside each number, on what can I do this week to be more focused? So what can you do? Or kind of write almost like a list of things you want to focus on more this week. Just 4 things. They can be very simple. They can be to go outside more. or to focus less on your phone, or read more, or it could be bigger, it could be to do with your job or family or anything. Just four things you want to be more focused on this week. And with the written tasks, I'll always do them with you, so you don't feel like I'm waiting on you or anything. Okay, we'll take another 30 seconds to finish that off. Great. So for the second question, we had a bit of a mental week last week. Last week was crazy. I feel like every day something quite monumental happened in the world and the world around us. Which at times I found it hard to focus because I was a bit preoccupied in my mind with what was going on. And it became a bit distracting emotionally as well. Um, so yeah, I wondered if we could write about what did I learn this week? What did you learn this past week? Um, yeah, what lessons did you learn, or what came up, or maybe even to do with your focus? What did you learn in the past week? Okay, I'll take another 30 seconds just to finish that. We'll move on to the last one. Right, so for the last written task of today, um, yeah, I'd like you to write the word, in fact, no, it's going to be in two parts. It's going to be like an A and a B. So with focus, I think a good way of focusing our energy and our time can be on goals or, yeah, goals. So what goals do you want to achieve in the short term? So you could write short term and then write a few down. That could be today, that could be this week, that could be this month, that could be this year. Yeah. So what short-term goals would you like to focus on and achieve? Okay. And just for time, we're just going to move on to, maybe guessed it, long term. So what are your long term goals? Maybe that's something you want to achieve in the next couple of years, in the next 10 years, in your lifetime. Just, yeah, longer term goals that I want to strive towards and focus on for the future. Okay, and when you're done with that, pop it to the side. We'll leave the pen and paper for now. We have a drink and we're going to settle down. We're just going to meditate for the last little bit. Lovely. So closing your eyes when you're ready, settling down. We're just going to take 2 deep inhales through the nose and 2 forceful exhales through the mouth. So inhaling as deep as you can, exhaling, inhaling, and exhaling. Just to settle us back down. Return to your normal deep breathing. Okay. Maybe just take a minute to notice how you're feeling now compared to the start of class. I asked you to pick an object in your space. Keeping your eyes shut, I'd like you to imagine that object in your mind. What does it look like? What color is it? Is it a particular shape or size? What is it? What is that object you picked? Does it serve a purpose or perform an action of some kind? Can you place it in your room from where you're sitting with your eyes shut? Can you imagine where it is physically from you now? Does it have a particular smell? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does. What is the weight of that object? Can you pick it up? How heavy is it? What does it feel like? Is it textured? Is it smooth? Is it rough? Does it produce a sound of any kind? Or can it? Really focusing on every bit of this object. We're giving our time and attention to it in our mind. Lovely. And in your mind, I want you to pick up that object. And in your mind, you're going to walk to somewhere new in your room and place it down and return to where you're sitting right now. So where might you place it? Where might you put it compared to where it is now? To return to your space. Now you've returned to your space with your eyes shut. I'm just going to read you a poem. Hear me out. We're finding new ways to rearrange our pieces. You, rows and rows. Me, shoved beneath the bed or untouched. Truthfully, it's hard to remember this life became less high school and more jigsaw. The world with its loud microphone and shut tight ears keeps saying that nothing is broken. But how can that be if the only way to let light in is to crack the walls a little more? Yes, I know we're only getting by to get by now, We have been for a while. We do nothing but attempt to survive and somehow call that living. But look, hear me out. My fingers have been crossed behind my back for years. I haven't promised anyone anything, see? I've still got time. And that's by Alison Malie from The Day Is Ready For You. We're just going to rub our hands together to generate some heat as fast as we can for eyes shut, and place them on top of your eyes. Gradually blinking your eyes open under your hands, and we're going to slowly peel them away to let in the light, let our room back into our vision, into our eyes. Maybe look for your object you were just focusing on. Lovely. And we're going to come back to your pen and paper one last time and just write down any sort of reflection. Maybe it's a word, a sentence, a thought, a feeling. Lovely. And while you're doing that, I just want to say thank you so much for coming. Please thank yourself for coming as always. Yeah, and with the YouTube thing, maybe like the video if you liked it. Pop a comment if you have any thoughts or feelings or anything you want to let me know. And you can always message me or Studio K as well. Subscribe if you've not already subscribed. It'll give you like a notification every time we go live or every time there's a new video added. Yeah, and I'm teaching Stretch and Relax tomorrow night at 8:30 over on Zoom. So sign up if you haven't already. Yeah, thanks so much, everyone. I'll stick around for another minute. If anyone has anything they want to say, have a really great day. If not, week, month. Can't believe we're already like a quarter of the way through the year. Well, thank you. Yeah, I like kind of choosing something to focus on when I meditate. I think it can be, I don't know, I just don't really connect fully with trying to empty everything and be completely empty. Thanks, Yaz. So I think that's why I like to make it quite structured and more focused. But that might not work for everyone. Thanks, Shona. Yeah, have a lovely day, everyone. Thanks, Ayla. Have a nice day. Thanks, Jess. Thanks, Lee. Okay, maybe I'll end it there. But thanks so much, everyone. And might see some of you tomorrow. If not, maybe I'll see you next week. Or never. Thanks, everyone. Bye.